So guys, disinflation refers to a fall in the rate of inflation. What do you mean by that? इसका बिल्कुल भी ये मतलब नहीं है कि चीजें सस्ती हो रही हैं, बिल्कुल भी इसका ये मतलब नहीं है चीजें सस्ती हो रही हैं. इनफैक्ट चीजें महंगी हो रही हैं, लेकिन the rate of inflation is falling. Things are getting expensive, but at a declining rate. It is inflation at a falling or declining rate. यानी चीजें अभी भी महंगी हो रही हैं, but the rate of increase in prices is falling. So what I'm trying to say is that things are still getting expensive because of inflation, but the rate at which price level is rising, the rate at which they're getting expensive is falling. Now I'll cover this with an example. For example, let's say that in 2010, the rate of inflation in Pakistan was, let's suppose, 10%. In 2011, the rate of inflation in Pakistan was 7%. Now, if I ask you that were things cheaper in 2011, a lot of students will say yes, things became cheaper in 2011. But that's wrong. Things did not become cheaper in 2011. In fact, if I ask you, guys, that in which year were the things the most expensive, the answer would be that things were most expensive in 2011. Because now I'll tell you why. See, you need to understand that let's assume that in 2009, the price level was 100, right? Let's suppose that the price level was 100. Now inflation, the rate of inflation increases by 10%, right? Which means that in 2010, things became 10% more expensive, which means that the price level rose to $110, right? Now in 2011, things became further expensive by 7%. Although you know the rate at which they are rising is falling, but still they are increasing by 7%, which means that things will now be, what will be now the price? Now the price would be, if you calculate 110 into 1.07 would be, this would come to 117.7, right? ठीक है, 117.7. तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? अगर आप देखें कि भाई 2011 में जो चीजें, 2011 में जो प्राइस लेवल बढ़ रहा होगा ना, वो 2010 का 7% बढ़ रहा होगा. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? वो 2010 का 7% बढ़ रहा होगा, which means कि भाई चीजें सबसे ज्यादा कब महंगी नजर आ रही हैं आपको? इन विच ईयर, और ये बहुत एमसीक्यूज में आता है, बहुत एमसीक्यूज में टेस्ट होता है, ऑलमोस्ट बच्चे गलत कह देते हैं. इन विच ईयर आर थिंग्स द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव, गाइस? 2011 they are the most expensive. So now if I ask, so basically the rate of inflation was the highest in 2010, ठीक है, but the rate of inflation fell by 3% in 2011. So what was the rate of inflation? 7%. So this is known as disinflation. Now, just because the rate of inflation fell, that does not mean that things became cheaper. Just because the rate of inflation fell, guys, this does not mean that things became cheaper. The rate of inflation has fallen. Still there is inflation. You need to understand that. What is disinflation? Disinflation means inflation at a decreasing rate. But the rate is decreasing, still price level is rising, still the cost of living falls, right? Still the cost of living rises and the value of money falls. So the rate of inflation has fallen, but still there is inflation. And even during disinflation, the cost of living is rising and the value of money, the real value of money is falling, even during disinflation. Okay? Although you can say that during disinflation, if I'm saying that cost of living is rising, So you can say that the cost of living is rising, but maybe the cost of living is rising at a decreasing rate as compared to last year. Last year जिस रेट से कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग बढ़ी थी, इस साल जिस रेट से कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग बढ़ रही है वो कम है. उस रेट यानी रेट ऑफ इंक्रीज कम है, लेकिन फिर भी बढ़ रही है. यू नो, इट इज स्टिल मेकिंग पीपल वर्स ऑफ, although maybe to a less extent, but still it is making people worse off, right? And similarly, the real value of money is falling, maybe to a less extent, but still it's falling. Still real value is falling. Still it's declining the purchasing power, right?